That just happened moments ago before we began this broadcast right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much once again for creating time for us. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi. All right, on to other matters that have been shaping the news this particular morning. Transport at Msabaha area was paralyzed for the better part of today morning after residents of the Pendukeni area barricaded the Malindi-Mombasa highway, protesting the arrest of their own by police officers over a land dispute. The irate residents vow to stay put until the arrested Barakagona is released.
Traffic is at a standstill after residents blocked the highway to protest the arrest of their own last night following a land dispute. Barakagona was arrested after police allegedly raided his home and harassed him before taking him.
Wakatupata kasi tumelala, wakamchukua bwanangu kwa yuko uchi, wanampiga aga, wakachukua mtoto wakampiga chini, wakanipasulia nguo, wakanirushia pads hapo ndani, askari mwanamke, na mimi pia wakanitandika na kumshika bwana wakaenda naye.
And for close to 2 hours, the residents lit bonfires, inconveniencing motorists who opted to use alternative routes. The residents claim that the land in question belongs to them, but a well-known tycoon was allegedly attempting to evict them. They further alleged that the area OCPD was working with the tycoon to harass them.
Na chifu anajua, anabao. County Commissioner Kilifi County, yeye pia anajua. Yeye naye amehongwa huko na Muhindi.
Muhindi alikuja, amegrab, ameng'oa miti yote, mpaka sasa hakuna kitu. Tumepata nyumba zetu akaja akavunja zote. Saa hii amerutina hapo tena, anatushika kila siku. Hii kesi iko kotini, lakini jamaa kila siku anafuata wale mashahidi wetu, anataka kuweka ndani.
Tuko hapa kwa barabara, hatutoki hapa kwa barabara mpaka tuone haki, mpaka tuone ndugu yetu ambaye mmeshika uchi ambaye yuko huko Malindi au ametolewa.
The residents say they will not stop until Gona is released. When reached for comment, the OCPD said he's off duty but promised to send a team to ease the traffic snarl-up. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
All right, still more for you. The collapse of a bridge linking two villages, one in Kiambu County and the other in Murang'a County, has caused uproar among residents of Soya and Goliba villages. The collapsed bridge was the connection across Thika River between Gatanga constituency in Murang'a and Thika Town constituency in Kiambu County. Have a look.
Boats are now the only option of helping movement of livestock, motorbikes, people and farm produce from one side of the Sol and Thika River to the other. Led by Peter Monene, a boda rider, the residents complain the situation has worsened during current rainy season, with school-going children being the most hard hit. The river is infested with hippos.
Daraja itengenezwe ili tuweze kusaidiana watu wengi, sababu kuna watu wengi wako na kilio, sababu hapa ukichelewa usiku unalala ng'ambo hii. Na hii mto tukifuka kuna wanyama, kuna kiboko, kuna crocodile, kwa hiyo kuna shida mingi tunapitia sana kwa hii maji.
Residents say lack of a bridge has hampered their economic activities.
Kuvuka hii daraja ni shida, imenipea stress sana, hata ni siku mingi sendangi hosi sababu ya daraja. Naomba tu atutengenezee daraja tupate kuvuka vizuri, sababu kuvuka hapa mtu anavuka akiwa na uoga.
However, Thika Town MP Patrick Wenena revealed that the government has started the process of putting up a long-lasting bridge that is able to carry a weight of up to 15 tons. The bridge will be built in a period of 3 months at a cost of 25 million shillings.
But the good news is the kind of bridge that is coming will be able to support a 7-tonner. So that means because the bridge that you had could not even support a boda, this is going to support even a 7-tonner. So that means it will be a very, very big opening for business.
The move is expected to revive collapsed economic development of the area. For Channel 1 News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
Now on to matters that elevate the rights of women and girls. Communities living in Samburu County have been urged to shun harmful cultural practices such as female genital mutilation and early marriages that negatively affect the lives of girls and women in the region. World Vision Project Coordinator in Isiolo, Nyeri and Samburu, Michael Mulei, called on parents to empower their children through education for a better society.
Speaking in Maralal town, stakeholders stated that there was need to achieve zero tolerance to FGM by 2022, calling on the government and other stakeholders to intensify efforts in the fight against retrogressive cultures in Samburu County.
The declaration was the starting point of strengthening our efforts to bring an end to female genital mutilation, which you all know is the beginning point of all other forms of violence against children.
Kuna mipangilio ya kuendeleza kupigania haki ya msichana na ya watoto katika kaunti ili waweze kupata elimu na mambo ya dhuluma iendelee kuisha kama ukeketaji. Hivi karibuni wazee walikuwa katika declaration ya anti-FGM huko Kisima, na ndio tunataka kufuatilia kuona kwamba tutaendelea kufanya community dialogues tukihusisha watoto, tukihusisha wasichana na vijana na morans.
The group stating that mitigation efforts have been put in place, however, they have been experiencing various challenges. World Vision Project Coordinator in Isiolo, Nyeri and Samburu, Michael Mulei, urged parents to empower their children through education for a better progressive society.
It was evident that areas of Samburu North and Samburu East really need a lot of interventions as far as addressing issues of female genital mutilations are concerned. We also have some areas of Samburu Central, which is also referred to as Samburu West, which the county gender sector working group has been able to identify where we need to intensify our efforts.
The group calling on stakeholders to offer support so as to end harmful cultural practices.
We take you back to Kisumu County at the Kisumu State Lodge. Joining us now live is Achola Simon. He has been following us for us the three-day working tour by the head of state that will culminate to Tuesday's Madaraka Day celebrations. A very good afternoon, Achola. What can you tell us about this particular trip by the head of state, and also what plans are there ahead of Tuesday?
Well, thank you very much, Serfine. Indeed, as you've rightly put it, we are actually in the second day of the three-day state visit by President Uhuru Kenyatta in this region. And of course, yesterday he did do a number of things, but more importantly, today he was at the State Lodge, and he was receiving the president of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye, who was here to sign bilateral trade between the two countries. And as I speak to you right now, the session has just concluded, and of course the two presidents walked out of their session, and they were here for about 30 minutes enumerating what they've actually been doing in behind the closed door. And of course key amongst them was actually trade between the two countries, and Lake Victoria featuring prominently on how the two countries are going to actually utilize this vast facility here, or vast resources here, in terms of ensuring the two countries can continue to collaborate in terms of trade. President Ndayishimiye going out and saying that he will ensure that indeed he actually puts in place mechanisms that will ensure the two countries continue to enjoy good working relationship. And of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta saying that he has instructed line ministries and government departments to ensure that indeed they look into bottlenecks and challenges that will actually have business between the two countries. Some of the areas that, of course, the two presidents, of course, touched on was on agriculture, tourism, and culture, sports, and of course also on education. But Burundian President Ndayishimiye just thanking President Uhuru Kenyatta for what he said that the country has actually been doing in terms of ensuring that Burundi stands on its feet, especially after that turmoil past, and of course saying that the last general election is a clear indicator that indeed Burundi is headed in the right direction. The President Uhuru Kenyatta also saying that they will focus more on education in that country in terms of ensuring that the country can actually move forward, more people can actually access education, and very many other issues. So that is what has actually been discussed here at the State Lodge. But also the other thing that coming out prominently was how the two countries are going to exploit in terms of agriculture, and the President Uhuru Kenyatta giving President Ndayishimiye about 10 heifers that were actually promised a couple of months back, and they say that they are actually going to work in terms of ensuring that the two countries can continue to benefit from agriculture as they go forward. Of course, that is what has actually been discussed here. But moving forward from here, President Uhuru Kenyatta is actually going at the ship bay where he is expected to actually open the ship bay. But also concurrently, as we speak right now, the First Lady is actually at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, and they're also carrying out activities there ahead of the Madaraka Day celebration that is actually expected to go down tomorrow. President Uhuru Kenyatta also using that opportunity to invite President Ndayishimiye to that function tomorrow. So, of course, Serfine will be keeping a keen eye to get to know exactly what will be happening today and, of course, tomorrow. Remember, there were a number of activities that are actually supposed to be to go down yesterday, including the opening of the Butere railway line, and, of course, the railway station at the other side, which did not happen yesterday. So we'll be looking at it keenly and see if indeed that will be going down today. But, of course, that is what we have for now. We'll be joining you later for any update if a need arises. Back to Serfine.
So much, Achola Simon, for that update. Achola is currently at the State Lodge in Kisumu, giving us an update on what transpired in the meeting between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Burundian President, just discussing how to strengthen ties between Burundi and Kenya, and a lot is also to be expected during this 3-day working tour by the head of state that, like I told you, will culminate to Tuesday's Madaraka Day celebrations that will be marked uniquely under strict adherence to the COVID-19 safety protocols. He's still following up that for us and will be updating you on how that progresses. And we also understand that it's a busy day for President Uhuru Kenyatta. A few minutes, he's supposed to be going to the Kenya shipyard in Kisumu. He's expected there also. We have our very own Victor Olo, who will be giving us details about this particular trip by the head of state. And also, we have a lot that is happening elsewhere in the country. We now want to take you to Mandera, where at least 10,000 Huduma number cards are yet to be collected in Mandera County. Mandera County Commissioner Kiatha Onesmus observed that many locals did not collect their cards, even after receiving a message instructing them to do so.
For all citizens in the country, as well as foreign nationals living in the country in search of services at public offices. But residents who live in rural areas complained of lack of network from mobile service, adding that they keep tabs on Huduma alerts messages through their phones.
Network hakuna, wananchi hawataweza kupata ile message ya Huduma cards ama kazi zingine mingi. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali hiyo vyuma tutengezewe ndio tuweze tuendelee kama Wakenya wengine vile tulikuwa kwa mbeleni hapa awali.
The county commissioner urged those who had not yet registered to take advantage of the second phase of the project, which he said the government would soon begin.
Serikali inaendelea kuweka mikakati na tutawatangazia hivi karibuni wakati wataanza wale ambao hawakukata wakati ule ya kwanza. So tutawaarifu wakati huo ukifika. Lakini kwa wakati huu ni wale ambao walikuwa wamejisajili wakati huo. Wale wengine watasajiliwa baadaye na serikali itatoa utaratibu.
In addition, the administrator encouraged locals to respond to text messages to enable them select the nearest location to pick their cards.
Wajitokeze wale ambazo cards zao tumepokea na wamepata ujumbe waweze kufika katika zile vituo ambazo wameelekezwa ili waweze kuchukua hizo cards. Hii kadi ni ya maana sana na tungependa kuomba wananchi wote wa Mandera tushirikiane kwa sababu hiyo kadi ni ya maana na ni ya muhimu sana. na hii ndio fursa tuko nayo kuhakikisha kwamba sisi kama wenyeji kila mtu amepata kadi yake.
Allow us to take a very short break right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Remember, when we come back, a lot still lined up, including the visit by the head of state at the Kenya Shipyard Limited in Kisumu. That will be coming to you live right here on KBC Channel 1. Don't go too far. In the meantime, interact with us on social media at KBC Channel 1.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, suniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
We,
insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine.
Sina habari, na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive motor insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali, pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. And not a very sanitary situation in Ngong Town. That is where we are going next, where the closure of the major Ngong Town dumping site by Kajiado County government has left the devolved unit in a mess with uncollected garbage strewn all over the satellite towns. Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku ordered the closure of the dumping site next to Madare Slum within Ngong Township a month ago.
The county had planned to relocate the dumping site to Kirarapon and rehabilitate the site to a public park. However, Kirarapon residents protested the move, making the plan elusive. With nowhere to dump tons of waste, satellite towns are characterized by heaps of uncollected garbage, becoming an eyesore.
Kwa tunaelezewa ya kwamba hii kitu itafungwa, lakini tukawauliza kwa muda gani, wakasema hata hawajui ni muda kwa sababu hawana mahali ya kwenda kupeleka hiki kitu. Na hata saa hii ukienda Ngong, hata hapa stage tu itakwambia kwamba ile takataka imejaa mahali pale, hakuna mahali ya kupeleka.
A spot check at the closed dumping site indicates dejected families who used to earn a living from the dumping site. The families say the decision was made in a half and ended denying them a daily.
Kunafugwa. Tangu siku hiyo tuko na shida, sababu hata
watoto wetu wengi tunalala njaa.
Na kutuelezea sisi ati kama kazi yetu imeisha. Ndivyo tunauliza tunaweza fanya nini kazi yetu irudi.
However, Kajiado Governor Joseph Lenku said the plan to relocate the dumping site is being watered down by his political competitors, who he claimed were paying crooks to litter the towns.
Scrupulous fellow political competitors who are noticing the effect of this dump site relocation affecting their kura have gone to sabotage the process by paying people to spill litter all over.
Lenku has, however, urged the security officers to arrest and prosecute individuals allegedly inciting locals against the plan.
Now began a process of the law to make sure that those who do that are arrested, because that is sabotage, and sabotage will not be allowed. So there is no turning back with the Ngong dam site relocation. We are moving forward. It is happening. It has happened more than 30%, and we will not look back on this as well.
Now on to March's youth. The 400 Lamu youth who were offered full scholarships by the national government during the construction of the multi-billion port project and later graduated want Lapsset Authority to consider them for employment. The youth who graduated with certificates, diplomas and degrees from different institutions claim they were yet to be considered since the project was commissioned by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Speaking in Malindi through their team leaders, the youth, majority from poor family backgrounds, say they had high expectations of being absorbed even in phases when the project was being commissioned, but this did not happen.
So nilikuwa natarajia kwa kipindi hiki at least nilikuwa nimepata kazi na mimi. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya sijapata kazi. Dockers walichukuliwa juzi na tulipeleka dokumenti zetu lakini zile kwa kando. Na mimi nimesoma na nimegraduate.
Tulichukua courses zenye zinaendana na kazi za bandari. Hizi kazi za port tunazijua, tunazifanya, hamna mambo na experience kwa sababu sisi tumekuwa huko ndani tukifanya hizo kazi katika kufanya nini? Katika kufanya internship na attachment.
Tunawaomba na kuwasihi wale wahusika hawa vijana wapewe hizo nafasi. Wamesoma na pesa za serikali na ni muhimu kuwa serikali pia inufaike na ile elimu hawa vijana wamepata.
From the coastal region to the Rift Valley region, members of county assemblies from Rift Valley are in Turkana County to sensitize the local pastoralists on how to maximize the sector for the economic welfare. Speaking in Lodwar, the MCAs said the objective of the tour was to strategize on how the pastoralist communities can use their strengthened occupation for local development.
Tunafahamu na tunaelewa changamoto ambazo zipo katika hizi jamii za wafugaji, hasa mali tupo kama Turkana, West Pokot, Baringo, Samburu na pamoja na Naro. Tunajua changamoto hiyo imetokana na tamaduni zetu za kale. Na katika kongamano hii tuko na ile shirika ambayo inaitwa Women Caucus ambayo pia wanapewa rasilimali na wakizunguka wakifanya zile inaitwa kuongelesha kina mama na pia kuweka hizo policies ambazo wanaleta kama motions kwenye bunge zetu, alafu serikali ambazo ni za county inaweza kuweka fedha ili hao watoto ama wale kina mama wahusika wale wanapata hizo changamoto za ndoa za mapema, ukeketaji pamoja na mambo ya insecurity, kwa sababu tukielewa wakati disarmament ama insecurity iko katika nchi, yule anaadhiriwa zaidi ni mama na watoto.
We are here as members of County Assembly in Rift Valley. There are issues that are domesticated in Rift Valley. We have our challenges on issues even of castle rustling. We have issues of cross-border trade. We have issues of taxation from one county to the next.
Now let me take you elsewhere in the continent. The self-declared Republic of Somaliland is holding parliamentary and municipal elections, some of which are overdue by 10 years. The expectation is that the elections will boost the breakaway republic's chances of gaining international recognition as an independent state.
Somalia, which insists Somaliland is still part of its territory, has not held a democratic poll for more than half a century. Since declaring independence from Somalia, it has not been recognized internationally but functions as a nation-state with its own passport, currency, flag, government and army. Over 1 million voters are expected to participate in the polls. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, gunmen have kidnapped dozens of students from an Islamic school in Tegina town. According to witnesses, the gunmen riding on motorcycles stormed the town and opened fire indiscriminately. As people fled, the attackers went into the Islamic school and seized the children. 2 people were shot during the attack and 1 has since died. Elsewhere, leaders of the West African grouping ECOWAS have suspended Mali's membership from the bloc following last week's military coup, the second in 9 months. The bloc has called on Mali to nominate a new civil prime minister immediately, to adhere to an 18-month transition period, and to hold a presidential election next February. Ghana said the stability of Mali was critical if West Africa was to hold back terrorist activities from the region. The coup leader and now interim president, Colonel Assimi Goita, attended the meeting in Accra.
Now for the latest in the world of business, tea prices increased marginally during the weekly Mombasa tea auction as demand for the Kenyan produce ticked. A kilo of tea was selling at an average price of 197 shillings compared to 193 shillings during the previous sale held on 17th, 18th and 19th of this month. During the same period, 12.8 million kilograms of tea was on offer during the auction, which is an increase from 12.6 million kilograms for the same period last year and 12.2 million kilograms during the previous sale.
During the sale, 12 million kilograms of tea were sold compared to 10 million kilos for the same period last year and 11.5 million kilograms during the previous sale. Made this month, the Ministry of Agriculture reported that tea production jumped by 24% in 2020 to stand at 569 million kilograms against 458 million kilograms recorded in 2019. Data from the ministry shows tea exports for 2020 rose by 4% to 518 million kilograms, up from 496 million kilograms recorded in 2019. Earnings from export was recorded at 120 billion shillings, a slight improvement from 113 billion shillings recorded in 2019. The United Kingdom, Pakistan and Egypt remained top buyers of the commodity, with Russia, Poland and Nigeria emerging as new markets for Kenyan tea. O'Brien, Kimani for Business, Lunchtime News.
Now to Isiolo County, Juakali traders in Isiolo have been urged to either join existing cooperatives and SACCOs or establish new ones in order to benefit from funding programs offered by both the county and national governments. Have a look.
Isiolo County government has urged traders to take advantage of upcoming government projects by diversifying their activities and venturing into different viable business opportunities that are in line with the upcoming state mega projects.
Kuna ile miradi tena inafanywa na serikali kuu kama ile LAPSSET ambayo inapitia Isiolo. This is the nuclear area ambapo other areas are going to benefit, kila kitu kitakusanyika hapa. Kwa hivyo watu wetu wa Juakali wanaweza jiweka pamoja, wanaweza kuja na SACCO, waweze kufanya kazi pamoja, na wakienda kwa SACCO waweze kuwa na rasilimali ambapo wataweza kuinvest ili waweze kufaidika na hiyo RAPSSET.
Ngechu say that the county government through the Department of Trade and Cooperative Development has been sensitizing the business people on the need to form new or join existing SACCOs and cooperatives, since it is easier for them to access funds from various government programs.
I know kuna mambo kadhaa ambao wameuliza kama vile to have a shed ambapo wataweza kufanya kazi pamoja, na kama serikali tutaona vile tutawasaidia through hii serikali ya Governor Mohamed Abdi Kuti.
Now on to what has been happening elsewhere. Hong Kong is offering top bankers exemptions from strict virus quarantine measures. Senior executives who are fully vaccinated can apply to be exempted from a mandatory 21-day quarantine. Details of this and other stories in our international business roundup.
Quarantine measures comes after authorities had previously warned that slow vaccination uptake could hurt the city's position as a global financial center. A maximum of 2 senior executives from each of the financial services company that are licensed by Securities and Futures Commission and 2 of their overseas affiliates can apply for the waiver 5 days prior to their trip. Government officials and airline crew members are currently among those that do not have to go through compulsory quarantine. Last week, Hong Kong warned that it could have to throw away vast stores of coronavirus vaccines because of people's reluctance to be injected. Earlier this month, official figures showed that Hong Kong's economy had finally emerged from a year and a half of contractions, but concerns remain that the recovery is uneven. Elsewhere, American tire manufacturer Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company is facing accusations of unpaid wages, unlawful overtime, and threats to foreign workers at its Malaysian factory. Some current and former foreign workers and officials with Malaysia's Labour Department say Goodyear made wrongful salary deductions, required excessive hours, and denied workers full access to their passports. Malaysia has in recent years faced accusations from its own Human Resources Ministry and authorities in the United States of labor abuse at its factories, which rely on millions of migrant workers to manufacture everything from palm oil to medical gloves and iPhone components. According to the judgment and the workers' lawyer, Goodyear was ordered to pay back wages and comply with the collective agreement. Goodyear has challenged both verdicts at the High Court as the appeal decision is expected on the 26th of July. Finally, car makers in the Indian automobile hub of Chennai will be allowed to keep operating amid protests by workers who fear catching COVID-19 in one of the country's hardest hit states. Tamil Nadu's government on Friday extended a near total lockdown as coronavirus infections and deaths rise in the southern state, where average cases are running at more than 30,000 a day. However, a government order issued on Saturday said the continuous process industry will be allowed to function in accordance with measures such as social distancing and vaccination of all their employees within a month to stem the virus's spread. Tamil Nadu's government also gave permission for units near Chennai with export orders such as construction and mining equipment maker Caterpillar Incorporation and Foxconn to operate their plants within 50% worker capacity. Global car makers in Chennai have said they will prioritize worker safety and adherence to social distancing protocols.
All right, and of course we have been tracking so much for you earlier on. Remember, we brought you live a conference by pensioners at the Teleposter right here in Nairobi. Alan Aoko has been following up for us that particular meeting and got details about what emanated. What should we be looking forward, Alan Aoko?
Indeed, thank you very much. This afternoon, a very chilly afternoon here in Nairobi. We are at the AGM of the Teleposter pension scheme, AGM which ended a few moments ago, and we're just looking at some of the challenges that pensioners are facing as members when it comes to investing their retirement benefits during these times of COVID-19. And of course, if you remember, the retirement benefits sector made about 7.76 in percentage points in terms of profits above the previous year, which we can tell you that had some challenges of its own. This is very incredible, looking into things that are, if you look at every sector being impacted by COVID-19, but you see the retirement benefits sector earning about 1.4 trillion in 2020 as at December 2020. And also, despite the shocks of the markets and, of course, the member withdrawals and the contribution cancellations that were seen with various schemes, the sector has remained very resilient. And what came out of this meeting here is that going forward, despite the challenges, the pensioners are still willing to of course, invest. And just to go back into a report that was released a month ago, talking about the impact of COVID-19 on the retirement benefit sector, is that many pensioners were going back into their savings so that they could survive this period because there was no other source of income. And so they tapped into the projects that they were doing and stopped them, and then started picking what was in their pot for retirements, just to go on and, you know, finance what they had left during the pandemic. But of course, going forward, we see that in the future, now the retirement benefit scheme sector is adopting things like technology to try and innovate through the sector. And we also see that there have been some amendments. Earlier, we even had the Retirement Benefits Authority CEO, Mr. Nzomo Motoku, talking about amendments that they are lobbying amendments on acts and regulations going forward. That will, of course, help to buoy the sector and help wither the headwinds that have come with the challenges of COVID-19. Of course, and we've seen some interesting developments, especially when it comes to mortgages, where you see that now pensioners can use their mortgages to actually do some affordable housing projects using that, which was actually unheard of and it was not done before. But now these are some of the things that have come in to buoy the sector. And of course, we will all, of course, give you all the updates. We are hoping to speak to one of the administrators slash the trust secretary of the Telposta pension scheme, just to give us an overview of the sector. But of course, we'll do that and come back in subsequent bulletins with something of value and enrichment to the members of these pension schemes countrywide. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Alan Aoko, for that update coming to us live from Hilton Hotel right here in Nairobi, talking about matters on how to save pensioners. A lot has been happening in the industry, and pensioners, as we speak, have resorted to different means of surviving, including even taking up loans just to meet up their daily needs. This comes courtesy of different challenges the sector has experienced, including COVID-19, which has really affected the industry's profitability, and statutory deductions also going down because of job layoffs and the likes, returns on pensions also being affected. This comes as fund managers are being urging the government to be more prudent, and a lot already happening. Of course, Alan, they are talking to us about a recent report that really affirmed some of these issues that I'm telling you about at this moment. He'll be giving us more details in our subsequent news bulletins. Now, that wraps it up for us right here on the business segment. We still have more coming up, including the sports news. Let's get sporty now. Kawhi Leonard has 29 points and 10 rebounds to help the Los Angeles Clippers even their Western Conference first-round playoff series against the host Dallas Mavericks with a 106-81 win in Game 4 earlier this morning. Paul George added 20 points and 9 rebounds for the Clippers, but lost the first 2 games of the series in Los Angeles before bouncing back to win the next 2 on the road.
He struggled over here in the...
Kawhi Leonard had 29 points and 10 rebounds to help the Los Angeles Clippers even their Western Conference first-round playoff series against the host Dallas Mavericks with a 106-81 win in Game 4. Paul George added 20 points and 9 rebounds for the Clippers, but lost the first 2 games of the series in Los Angeles before bouncing back to win the next 2 on the road. As a team, the Mavericks shot 5 for 30 from three-point range, a single-game season low, 16.7% after averaging 18.3 baskets and shooting 50.5% from three-point distance through the first 3